Are you living your life or just reacting to it? In a world full of distractions and noise, it's easy to lose your sense of direction, purpose, and even identity. But what if the real success isn't about doing more, but becoming more? Today on From Book to Life, we dive into Stephen Covey's urgent call to reclaim control, align with timeless principles, and live with clarity. If you've ever felt overwhelmed, stuck, or disconnected from your true self, this video will show you a path back to meaning. In today's hyper-connected and overstimulated world, the loss of personal control and identity has become a silent epidemic. Stephen Covey's concept of the greatest identity theft powerfully captures this phenomenon, not in the digital sense, but in the emotional and existential disconnection from our own values, purpose, and sense of self. As people chase productivity, recognition, and constant stimulation, they often lose touch with the deeper reasons behind their actions. The result is a kind of internal emptiness, where decisions are reactive rather than intentional, driven by external demands rather than inner conviction. This struggle to regain control over one's destiny isn't just about time management or goal setting. It's about realigning life with core principles, those foundational truths that give our choices meaning. Without this alignment, people may succeed by society's standards with status, wealth, or influence, but still feel profoundly unfulfilled. The disconnect between outward achievement and inner clarity creates tension, burnout, and a sense that life is happening to them rather than through them. Covey's insight challenges us to pause and examine. Who am I when the noise fades? What do I truly stand for? Reclaiming personal control begins not with grand gestures, but with daily awareness, choosing to act in accordance with what we value most, even when it's inconvenient or unpopular. In doing so, we begin to reverse the theft of identity and recover a life of purpose, not performance. Ultimately, this theme speaks to a deeper human need: to live a life that feels authentic, guided by clarity rather than chaos. It's a call to recenter, not only for our well-being, but also to positively influence those around us through a grounded, principle-centered presence. In today's fast-paced and outcome-obsessed culture, the lack of principled living has become one of the most critical barriers to genuine success and fulfillment. As societies drift away from time-tested values such as integrity, responsibility, humility, and perseverance, we increasingly witness a preference for shortcuts, surface-level success, and image over substance. This cultural drift doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual erosion where the focus shifts from being to appearing, from building character to managing impressions. Stephen Covey's insight here is both timeless and urgent. Many people aspire to the fruits of good character, trust, respect, influence, but are unwilling to invest in a slow, often uncomfortable process of actually becoming that kind of person. They want the trust of others without consistently telling the truth. They desire loyalty and connection without practicing empathy or self-discipline. This creates a dangerous illusion that success and character can be acquired through tactics and appearance rather than through the hard inner work of personal transformation. The deeper problem is that without grounding ourselves in fundamental principles, we lose our internal compass. When faced with pressure or temptation, we bend instead of standing firm because there's no deep-rooted why holding us steady. This not only leads to ethical lapses, but also to a gnawing sense of emptiness, because we know deep down that we're building on a fragile foundation. The real challenge and opportunity is to return to a life anchored in principles. This means prioritizing long-term integrity over short-term approval. It means choosing growth over comfort, honesty over popularity, and contribution over mere achievement. Principled living requires us to be intentional, reflective, and courageous. It's not glamorous, and it doesn't promise instant results, but it's the only path that leads to sustainable, authentic success. Ultimately, Covey's warning is a call to wake up, to stop chasing illusions and start cultivating the kind of character that doesn't just withstand life's storms, but transforms them into opportunities for growth and deeper meaning. In today's fast-paced world, one of the most pervasive and underestimated challenges we face is the overwhelming complexity and relentless pace of life. We live in a time where hyperactivity is mistaken for productivity and where being constantly busy is almost worn as a badge of honor. However, this constant state of motion comes at a steep cost. Mental exhaustion, emotional burnout, and a growing inability to stay present and intentional. The endless stream of distractions, from social media notifications to overloaded schedules, fractures our attention and weakens our capacity to maintain commitment and discipline. We start tasks without finishing them, chase every new opportunity without evaluating its value, and lose sight of the deeper goals that once mattered to us. It's not that we lack the ability to focus, but rather that the environment is designed to keep us reactive instead of reflective. Stephen Covey's insights remind us that focusing on what's truly important requires more than time management. It demands priority management. We must learn to differentiate between what is urgent and what is important, and to make deliberate choices that align with our core values, not just our immediate obligations. Otherwise, we become trapped in a cycle of responding to the loudest demands while ignoring the quiet call of purpose. What makes this issue even more dangerous is its subtlety. We often don't realize we've lost direction until we're deeply fatigued or unfulfilled. The key to regaining clarity lies in stepping back, simplifying, and reconnecting with what truly matters. This may mean saying no more often, creating space for reflection, or building daily habits that center us rather than scatter us. In a world built to distract, choosing to live with focus and intention is nothing short of a radical act of self-leadership. Shallow personal development is one of the most pervasive and misleading traps of modern self-improvement culture. In a world saturated with quick tips, viral motivational quotes, and endless lists of life hacks, there's a growing tendency to prioritize appearance over substance. The desire for rapid results leads many people to chase shortcuts, tools that promise transformation without discomfort, change without effort, and confidence without true self-awareness. This mindset is particularly visible in the consumption of self-help content. While reading self-help books can be an important first step, it often becomes a substitute for real action. People may feel a sense of progress simply by gaining knowledge, but intellectual understanding alone does not equal transformation. Without practical application, reflection, and consistency, knowledge remains passive. The real work lies in applying principles in the face of resistance, adapting behavior over time, and confronting the discomfort that genuine growth demands. Another danger in shallow personal development is the illusion of growth. It's easy to mistake familiarity with a concept for mastery of it. Someone may understand the value of habits, emotional intelligence, or purpose-driven living in theory, yet still struggle to embody these ideas in their daily life. This creates a disconnect between what we know and how we live. As a result, people may feel disillusioned, wondering why their lives don't reflect the insights they've accumulated. True personal development is not glamorous. It's a slow, often uncomfortable journey that requires humility, courage, and deep introspection. It calls for confronting inner contradictions, breaking old patterns, and aligning daily actions with higher principles. Instead of seeking quick fixes, lasting growth invites us to do the harder, quieter work of transformation from the inside out. Only by embracing this process can we move beyond superficial change and step into authentic, sustainable personal evolution. Internal struggles represent one of the most profound and persistent challenges on the journey toward personal effectiveness and authenticity. At the heart of these struggles is the tension between who we aspire to be and the pressures of the world around us. Maintaining integrity, living in alignment with our values, even when it's inconvenient or unpopular, demands daily courage and self-awareness. This isn't a one-time decision, but a continuous process of recommitment to principles that often come into conflict with immediate desires or external expectations. One of the main difficulties lies in the consistency of living by one's principles. Life presents endless scenarios that test our character, a tempting opportunity that requires bending the truth, a conversation where silence feels easier than honesty, a moment when choosing what's right risks losing approval or comfort. These situations expose the fragility of good intentions when not backed by deep conviction and inner strength. Even those with strong moral compasses can find themselves compromising, not because they are weak, but because the pressures, social, economic, emotional, can be relentless. What makes internal struggles so complex is that they often happen quietly, Unlike external conflicts, these are battles fought in the privacy of our thoughts and choices. It's easy to justify small deviations from our values, telling ourselves it's just this once, or that the ends justify the means. But over time, these compromises accumulate and erode our sense of identity and self-respect. When we sacrifice integrity for short-term gains or social acceptance, we may win external approval but lose internal peace. The path forward, as Covey suggests, lies in a principled life, one rooted in timeless truths rather than shifting cultural norms or personal convenience. This means embracing integrity not as a rigid moralism, but as a dynamic commitment to wholeness, congruence, and self-respect. It involves pausing in moments of decision, asking not what do I want now, but what will I be proud of later. Internal struggles are not signs of failure. They are the proving ground of character. The more we learn to honor our values despite difficulty, the stronger, freer, and more fulfilled we become. Disconnection from meaningful goals is one of the most disheartening yet common experiences in modern life. In a world dominated by noise, speed, and constant demands, it's easy to drift away from our deeper purpose and get lost in the immediacy of tasks that feel urgent but are ultimately unfulfilling. Many people begin with a sense of mission or aspiration, whether it's to build something meaningful, serve others, or live a life aligned with their values, but somewhere along the way, that vision becomes blurred or completely buried under layers of distraction, exhaustion, or fear. Losing sight of a personal mission doesn't usually happen overnight. It's often a gradual erosion as the weight of daily responsibilities takes over and the gap between what we're doing and what truly matters grows wider. When individuals no longer feel connected to a larger purpose, motivation dwindles and even the smallest actions can feel meaningless. This detachment can lead to stagnation, self-doubt, and in some cases a quiet form of despair where a person continues functioning outwardly but feels hollow inside. A major barrier to reconnection is the struggle with consistency. Meaningful goals are often long-term and require disciplined, incremental effort, small steps that don't always provide immediate gratification. The modern mindset, shaped by instant results and quick wins, often resists the slow, deliberate process of purpose-driven growth. This impatience can cause individuals to abandon worthwhile goals prematurely, assuming they've failed, when in fact they're simply navigating the natural ups and downs of a meaningful journey. Feeling overwhelmed is a natural consequence of this disconnect. When we lack a clear why to guide our actions, everything can start to feel equally pressing and equally pointless. The antidote, as Covey emphasizes, is to return to principle-centered living, redefining success not by external benchmarks, but by alignment with our internal compass. Reconnecting with purpose involves reflection, simplification, and a willingness to start small. It's not about suddenly having a grand life plan, but about making one honest, intentional choice at a time. When people act from a place of clarity and principle, even the smallest steps regain meaning and the fog of overwhelm begins to lift. Communication and interpersonal challenges are perhaps some of the most relatable and persistent struggles people face in both personal and professional spheres. At their core, these difficulties reflect a deeper human tendency to misunderstand, misjudge, or simply fail to fully connect with others. In an age where conversations are often transactional and driven by urgency or ego, the art of truly understanding another person, of listening with empathy and responding with sincerity has become increasingly rare. One major issue is the difficulty many people have in maintaining trust and respect in relationships. Trust is not built overnight. It's cultivated through consistent integrity, emotional openness, and a genuine interest in the well-being of the other. Yet under pressure to achieve, perform, or conform socially, individuals may compromise honesty or authenticity. This erosion of trust, whether through neglect or pretense, slowly deteriorates the quality of connections, replacing mutual respect with guarded interactions or superficial rapport. Another crucial point Covey raises is the common tendency to prioritize being liked over being trusted. This speaks to a deeper insecurity. Our desire for approval can override our commitment to truth or values. When we chase popularity, we often sacrifice principle. Ironically, trustworthiness, though it may not always win instant affection, leads to deeper, more lasting respect and connection. The distinction Covey makes here is vital. Being liked is situational and fleeting, while being trusted is transformational and enduring. The solution Covey offers, principle-centered living and character development, reminds us that genuine communication and relationships must begin from within. To truly understand others, we must first understand ourselves. When we build our lives on foundational principles like honesty, empathy, and responsibility, we become people others can rely on. Making small, consistent commitments to personal growth, as Covey suggests, not only shapes who we are, but influences how we engage with others. Over time, this steady, values-driven approach transforms relationships from strained and performative to sincere and resilient. Ultimately, Covey's message is deeply empowering. Despite the complexity of human interaction, we are not helpless. We have the capacity to improve our relationships, starting with our mindset, our values, and our willingness to grow. In a world hungry for connection, yet plagued by misunderstanding, this inner transformation is not just helpful, it's essential. The greatest achievement isn't success, it's living a life rooted in your deepest values. Stephen Covey reminds us that the world may pull us in 1,000 directions, but we have the power to choose principle over pressure, purpose over performance. So here's your challenge. Take one small action today that reflects who you truly are, not who the world expects you to be. If this message resonated with you, give it a like, leave a comment sharing your thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe to From Book to Life. There's a whole journey ahead, and we're walking it together.